All right, ladies and gentlemen, Sid, Junkyard Minion here. We're going to continue working on my Rogue Doc medical station, and currently I have in my hands the leader of my Venator gang for Necromunda is actually a Vindicare assassin repurposed. He actually has the Eversor backpack. I had a spare one, surprisingly enough. I have all the assassins. Yeah, and his arm broke off in the box that he was in when I was moving it. So I will fix that. Just a little update of the medical station itself. I'm going to add this back on there. I didn't glue it very well, clearly, because it just snapped right off. I only had a couple dots of glue on there. But this is like an ejector system. You know, it comes around and up and down, stick you whatever, and this thing, you know, comes down and does whatever it does. And of course you have the Cyber Skull, always to help you with monitoring. We have a light that is going to be used, and we have the table that I have actually I added some things to it and reprimed it, so it just, you know, it's just a couple things from their Necron Gauss. Is it the Gauss Flare? It's the Gauss rifle. It's the Necron Gauss Flare. There we go. Necron Gauss Flare. Just whacked it off in a couple sections. This piece actually broke off, but I had an extra one that had the little hose on it. I think you can, yeah, you can see that right there. And then this is the end of the Gauss Flare barrel, just added on. So what this is so this is like a crank. You know, you can do it, and you can, you know, your bed can move up and down or whatnot. And then of course you've got to have the scanner. Live long and prosper. Yeah, I did that. Love me some Leonard Nimoy. R.I.P., brother. Then, of course, what Rogue Doc would not be without his trusty chopper? This is actually an original 1995 close combat weapon or combat knife from a Goliath ganger that came in the 1995 box set, which I still have all my minis. I don't have any of the buildings anymore, sadly, but I do have the miniatures, and some of them I have repurposed, and some of them I have done a slight conversions on. A guy I know was playing Goliath, and so I made up two. He ended up getting two just regular Goliath gangers as bonuses for one of his wins in one of our games. So I made up two of them to match his color scheme that he had. It was pretty cool. I liked it. By the way, I still have the gang and the gangers. Okay, so when last we left, this was nice and painted. Well, you can tell that some damage has happened that I actually forgot about. So this is the aroma. It's the mist from the glue. And what I did is I went ahead and I magnetized in 3 places these 3 items because I did not want to glue it down. This came out so well. I am going to touch this up and then remat it. But it came out so well, I did not want to glue on top of it. And sadly, when I was just testing these, the glue was not entirely dry. So some of the acetone got onto it. But, I mean, they're not perfectly mounted, but, you know, not too shabby. The idea was to have something that I could actually take apart and put inside a storage bin or travel box. And I mean, I think it came out actually pretty freaking phenomenal, to be totally honest. I was not expecting anything of the sort. And no, it was really fun. So I will continue painting this up. That's pretty much almost done. The lights, I don't really care. They don't have to be perfect. Yeah. And so we will get on with that. We're going to throw some paint on there. And yeah. Put that over there. Oh, and I found the other one. So this came with 2 of these as well. So you can see that I will paint this one up at a later date as well. I really, really, really like it. It's a lot like my biker base. I don't know what I want to do with this one now. So we'll figure it out. Oh, and so that is really not very strong. I should have put a bigger magnet in that. So this actually has a couple different stages that it went through. And each one has gotten bigger. So originally it was literally just this without the cherub, the cyber skull. Then the cyber skull was added. Then the injector system was added. And it was put on to this base that I just cobbled together. Again, this is a part of this set right here. My cat is going nuts. Anyway, and so that was on there, and it was on a 32 mil base, or originally it was 32, and I was like, oh, that's not enough. It needs to be bigger. So I put it on a 40 mil base, and I was like, oh, that looks kind of cool, and I used it for a little bit. I used it one game. It was all right, kind of like an objective marker. But then I was like, no, you know what? I want actually, because the Rogue Doc is more of an after the game thing, although he can be used in the game. In Necromunda itself, he can be used as an actual model and warrior and fighter and whatever. But then I had this attached, and I needed a light, obviously, so there you go. That was sitting right on top of the med station. And then, of course, I saw this, and I was like, wait a minute, I really want to use this, but I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to cut it up or anything like that. I think the sculpt is really cool, even though it's really shallow. So I'm going to do, so I decided to go ahead and just paint it. And then right as I was about to glue the actual pieces onto it, the girlfriend was like, That looks really good. Don't glue anything to it. I was like, oh, what am I going to do with my med station? How am I going to, I mean, how are they going to stand? Well, magneto. So as long as it is, you know, stable, you know, it's not going to get knocked around or anything like that. It just sits there as like an objective or whatnot. All these pieces will just be no issues. There won't be a problem. They'll move around. I mean, you could, okay, yeah, fine. You could throw that around a little bit. But, you know, just standard movement is not going to knock anything off of that. So it can't be on any crazy elevations or whatnot, or precarious landings or anything of the sort. But, you know, it's a cool little med station. It could be used as an objective marker. I mean, shit, yeah, that's about 3 inches, you know, so the center could be the, you know, as long as you touch the edge, there you go, you're within 3 inches of the objective. And I don't know, it's just something to do. Throwing my pieces together. Like I said, here at Junkyard Miniatures, we deal with what we've got. So the minion here is going to build some stuff. Now let's get some paint on this thing. And my cat is going nuts. What, Simon? Oh, crap. He probably caught another bird. You caught another bird, didn't you? Oh, one more thing before I get started. So these two assassins here are the two most sought after assassins other than the Calidus in the Warhammer 40k universe. These are the original 1989, I believe it was either 89 or 90. It was one of the two. These are the original assassins. You could equip them with polymorphine, just like the Calidus assassin. His Eversor pistol is this is the model for the Eversor's pistol. Same thing with the backpack and the combat blade. You could give, this guy would explode on death. He did an extra, what did the Codex Imperialis say? I don't remember. I actually have I have all my second edition books. I'll have to get them out sometime and show them off. Not the best condition, you know. I mean, they've been through, you know, what? Let's see, I've lived in 3 countries, been to 13, been divorced a couple times, you know, so they've had some travel to them. You know, unfortunately, they've not been able to stay in one spot for very long. So, but anyway, these are, this one actually, I believe I've already showed it off once previously, and he was my first assassin, and he is probably my favorite character. He's my number one. I love this model, even though they're both the same. It's just, this one was first, and I know that. I love them both. So, let's get a little bit of leather on here. There we go. We have to get this saw blade or chopper or bone saw or whatever you want to call it ready for surgery. And by the way, like I said, I made this out of an original Goliath. Oh, poo. That's paint on there. An original Goliath Ganger out of the 1995 box set. Like I said, I'll show them off. I have all of the models, the Orlocks and the Goliaths. I actually have 2 sets of each. And I have an original Vansar, 2 Vansar warbands. Wow. Excuse me.